All right, so today we're going to look at putting on a Western saddle onto Digger here. Digger is a quarter horse.
Yes.
We have a full-sized, it is a full quarter Western saddle, isn't it?
I believe.
Very nice, Julie Goodnight saddle. And I was saying this morning that it's hard to buy full quarters here. We usually sell only 3/4 bar saddles because our horses are a bit narrower, but of course now we're breeding proper quarter horses these days, so it's a bit of a shame. So it is more difficult. Now, neither of us are saddle fitters, but what T is going to do is she's going to show you the saddle, show you the saddle cloth, and just give you some ideas on things to look for when you are fitting a horse. But of course, we recommend you get a saddle fitter to fit the saddle to your horse. I think it's really important, and I think for those of us that are horse trainers, what we see more often than anything is horses that have been injured from poorly fitting saddles that develop all sorts of behavioural problems that we really don't want. So do see your saddle fitter. But just to give you an idea, hopefully today with the Western saddle we can point out to you what is going to be obviously wrong. So if somebody tries to sell you a saddle or you're looking at a saddle to buy for a horse, we should be able to show you today the really obvious things that will tell you this saddle does not fit this horse, don't go near it.
Right.
Okay.
Or just something you may be doing and you don't know now that it's dangerous to do it that way.
Yes, maybe you're not putting it on quite properly, and we'll go through that.
And where you want it to sit. Okay, let me grab the saddle pad that I love.
So T loves this particular saddle pad.
Yes, this is
new. Tell us about this one.
These wool pads are old. We've been using them in Western riding for a really long time, but they get very coated with the sweat and the hair underneath, and it's a big thing to wash it. So these new ones have this air, I'm not sure exactly what they call it, but there's air that flows through because it's pocked, and it goes right where the saddle is, so the sweaty parts are always right here.
Oh, that's
And
good.
so every day when I'm done riding, I just take a wet rag and just wipe it down so I don't wet the whole thing. And so it preserves all of the felt and
so
wool
if you
part.
don't have that, if you've got the more old-fashioned ones, can you wash them or?
Yes, you can wash them, and it takes a lot to dry.
Okay.
What I usually do is use a metal curry.
Yep.
And then just
Scrub
work at it like
those
that.
Bits, it gets all the hair out and everything.
Yeah.
Okay, but it would take a lot to dry, as you say.
It takes a lot to dry, but if you maintain it more often, it doesn't get so bad. So you do have to look out for that, because then it's hard and crusty. That's something that's important. Run your hand on the bottom of your saddle pad.
Yep.
See what it feels like, because that's what's on your horse's back. So you could have burrs, you could have hard, pokey, crusty sweat. So.
If you hold that up for us, so it's quite shaped, isn't it?
It's
quite often you
contoured.
see ones that are just square. What's the difference, and why would you want this?
So this is helping keep it up off of the withers. So it's just doing a little extra work for you. So the more knowledge we have now, the more help we're giving to you and your horse. So we've got it opening, so the pad is not getting pushed down by the gullet of the saddle.
Okay.
So you've got space there.
Yep.
Because that's a place that you build up. So if this was all wool, solid here, and it sat on his higher withers, it would be more likely that we're pushing down on it. So that eliminates an old school problem that horses used to have to deal with a lot.
Right.
Okay, so I'm going to put this on him. I always put it on a little bit ahead of where I want it, so that I can slide it back in position with the direction of his hair.
Right.
Okay, so there we are. And so you can see right now, not only is it a bit of air conditioning there, but the saddle's going to sit up above, and you don't have to worry about it pushing down on his withers.
Yeah, okay.
Which in his case it would.
It would, wouldn't it? Because he actually has quite a high wither for a quarter horse.
He does, And he has a long back, so this is actually going to fit him very nicely. I always want to err on the side of being ahead in front of where I want it, because I can always pull my saddle back a little bit once I'm all done. I want to make sure, here's another thing, if you're buying a pad, especially one of these stiffer, more formed pads, you don't want a pad that's going to be hitting your horse's point of his hip back here. So like right here, every time he took a step, it would be rubbing.
Yeah.
So you want to take a look at your saddle pad and maybe even your saddle.
Yes.
Because your saddle shouldn't be back here either.
So can you get them in shorter
Yes. So
Yeah.
this one is a little bit, this one's contoured and cut. You can see this corner's cut off here.
Yeah, right. Okay.
I think more and more people are making that now. More and more saddles are cutting this little area out here because it's not necessary.
Yeah. And what about the saddle itself? Can you get a smaller sort of skirt?
A lot of saddle makers are going to the for us, we would like it to be as light as possible, right? For us to put on.
We're going to talk about that in a minute, but yes.
Then your horse would like it to be lighter, and we'd like more, we're just trying to go with what's necessary.
Yeah.
So the ornate extra piece that hangs here, unless it's discipline specific, I'm not positive. Maybe cutting saddles still have, they're known for that big long square. Corner here, maybe that's still part of what they're doing. But for a more multifunctional everyday saddle, you want to try to find something that's just what you need.
Yes.
And no more, no less.
And no more, yeah, okay.
Yeah, so
Good.
This is Rainsman is who makes this pad. I'm not sure if other places do. This is the first one I saw that looked like that, and it's a good one.
We found that at Equitana.
Yes.
T got quite excited.
I did. And it just so happens to fit with this saddle perfectly.
Which is perfect.
Okay. So it is not the lightest saddle.
How much do you think this saddle weighs?
Oh gosh, the brochure is right in there. I should probably know.
We'll have a look later. I'll put that on.
It's not the heaviest saddle, but it's not light.
It's 40 pounds though, isn't it?
Maybe 35.
35.
She makes a very light, a great saddle that is very minimal, that is like, I don't know, like 13 pounds or something like that. For trail riding, my friends love that.
So it's a Julie Goodnight saddle. Now just to show us how you grasp that. So you've got the back of the cantle there, yeah.
Okay, this is from the old school colt starting days.
Yeah.
So I've got the back of the cantle, and then I've got my hand right at the front of the skirt right here.
Yeah.
And what I try to tell people just as a description is, you want to bring it, you're going to fling it with your hip into the air, and then you help it come down gently. Okay. So you're not trying to throw it with your weight up, you kind of just fling it in the air and help it come down. I like to stand here where I'm pretending, well, if it was a colt, he's smelling the saddle, but that's the position you want to be in. And then as you take a step over here, I'm going to go up.
Oh, see how easy that was?
And then I just help it down. And it was not a flap, it flopped.
No.
So it's polite. Of course, how we do it is matters to your horse. So I try to be as polite as possible. If I felt like maybe you say, oh, I couldn't do that, there's no way I'm doing that. So then I would suggest have a mounting block that you can just step up and gently place it down.
That's what I've been doing. I look very uncoordinated climbing up the mounting block, lugging my great big saddle.
It is not a great ideal look for there's no graceful way about it. You or anybody else who's trying to get up on their mounting block to drop their saddle is just going to look like that.
But that I need to practice. So do you, like with an English saddle, we'd pull that saddle cloth up?
Yes, so, you would. We do that in Western too, but this, and I'm going to do it, but this is kind of doing that extra work for you too.
Is it? Okay.
The hole there. So I'm going to give it a little bit of a pull.
Okay,
so you've still got a little
space there.
A little hill there, yep.
Okay, now let's have a look at where you've got that sitting in relation to where the girth is coming.
Okay, so I'll bring the girth around from the other side. You want the majority of your saddle pad in front of it. Okay. In front of your saddle, not in back, because this is going to be, this is your most pressure coming through the bars and where the girth is. Okay. And so if it's just sitting here, it's going to slowly start to push the saddle pad out from under your saddle. Okay. So you always want the majority of the extra material in front.
Yeah, and that also makes sure that it's none of the pressure's on a join there of any kind as well. Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay, that's interesting.
Okay. So this has a latigo on each side. So this same thing on both sides. So sometimes in Western riding, people like to just go to each side to adjust.
Right.
So you can do it. So, but I have it set on one side there. I've got, this is I'm gonna have to, there's an official name, but it's double rig. So you can either go straight up and down when you're girthing, or you can take the second ring and that kind of stabilizes. So it pulls a little bit more pressure.
A little bit, so if the saddle is flapping up and down a bit at the back, that might be a thing to do?
Well, you can. There is also some rigging that Julie has on her saddles that go right to this back ring. So you go one through and then one here.
Okay.
And that's for her trail saddles, and that really helps keep it in place. But there's saddles that are made specifically for that.
Okay.
But this is, yes, this is going to help you a little bit. Flapping, I would say, you know, it's going to go away when you're on your horse.
Yeah.
So if you're working him on the ground and you see the saddle flapping around, don't worry too much.
Okay. Once you're in it.
Yeah. Okay. So I always tie that up when I put it away so that it's tidy when I come back to do it, and then I just stick it right in the ring. We love this ring on this girth because it rolls.
Yes,
makes it
that
nice
is
and
nice,
easy.
and that's a professional choice.
Professional choice, yes. And once you get one of these, you'll never buy another girth.
No.
There's a few companies that make them, but that roller is really important in helping you tighten it.
Yeah.
Okay,
So you go through, and then you're going to go through that second one. Okay,
yes. And you want to make sure, if you have a saddle that's rigged this way, you do it the same on both sides.
Okay.
So,
good point.
Okay, and then I want to be nice and polite. I mean, I don't know how many horses we know nowadays that are cinchy, or wouldn't know why, but they aren't born cinchy.
No.
Okay, so I'm just going to go nice and lightly here. Then I would usually go on about doing something else. If I'm riding, maybe put his boots on, bridle him or something, then come back and tighten it up again.
Come back and tighten it up. Okay.
So we don't have a rear cinch on this saddle. You can put a rear cinch on if you'd like, for looks, or if you're trail riding, or if you're roping. The main reason for rear cinches is roping.
Yeah.
So you dally off your cow, you don't want your saddle to flip up. Sometimes people like them for mountain riding, but what's important, if you do have a rear cinch, that you have the hobble strap that connects the two.
Yes.
It should be, you want to buy a proper hobble strap, but it should be, I don't know, maybe I would say 5 inches of space here.
Yep.
And its purpose is keeping, and I've seen this, keeps the rear girth from sliding back and becoming a bucking strap.
Okay.
You want it
so
to
with
be right
the
here.
rear girth, how tight should that be? Should you be able to put your hand under it with the horse standing there? Or?
So it really, you have to get to know with that particular horse and what they're used to, because a lot of people ride around with the very loose, inefficient rear girth. And so if you say, oh, well, the purpose, the proper way to wear it is touching and fitted, but if your horse is not used to it, you don't just go ahead and do it. You want to get him used to it. So yes, but you would want to be able to just slide your fingers under it easily. It's not as obviously not as tight as your front cinch, but in order for it to have any value or use, it does need to be a little bit, have a little bit of contact.
Yeah. And also, if it's too loose, you do run the risk of catching your back leg through it or something. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, very interesting. Good.
Yeah. Can't think of anything else. Oh, well, while we're talking about it, the hobble strap. I know a lot of people go, oh, it's a pain because you have to undo it every time, so I'll just get rid of it. This hobble strap on your stirrup is a safety point.
Okay.
You need to keep it on.
Okay.
Again, seen it. But if you don't have this on, there's nothing keeping your billet, the blevins, all of these things together, and just with a little bit of flapping around, it can slide off, and then your stirrup is gone.
Yeah.
So this keeps everything together from sliding out.
So
it is a safety point. If you do not have a hobble strap on your stirrups, you run the risk of that happening, unless you have some other setup on your saddle that's new agey or different.
Yep.
That is the purpose of that.
Yes, okay. It's not just there for pretty.
Right.
Okay, yeah, very interesting. Good.
Yeah.
So when you look at that saddle, you're going to just say, oh, I'm quite happy with that fit for this horse.
Very happy.
Yeah, okay. So what is making you so happy? I'm very pleased you're very happy.
Is level. See, my seat, this is a really nice, cushy memory
terribly
foam seat.
comfortable.
It's very comfortable. Also, if you ride in that, you don't want to ever ride in a hard saddle again. But you can see it's just level. From the cantle to the pommel, it's level, we're not tipping up in the front, we're not too high in the back, it's just right. And it's not too long, so we've got our nice rounded corners here. We've got plenty of space for him to move in his hip. And here we've already done this fitting, but I want to be able to slide my fingers back under here in just the right places, and I want to make sure his shoulders can move. So it's snug in just the right places. And right here is really important to be able to get my hand all the way in here. It's not sitting on his spine over there.
Nothing sitting on his back.
Yeah.
Good.
It's the Wind River. So this is a Peak Performance Wind River with a 16-inch seat, wide fit.
Oh, wide fit. Okay, so that'll be the full quarter horse bars.
Full quarter horse bars, yep.
Great.
And then underneath the saddle here too, there's a little bit of padding.
Oh, nice.
Some Western saddles have the sheepskin or flocking. This is kind of got a little air pad pockets there. But yes, please get that right. Wind River.
We'll do that. We'll do that. That's great, Wind River. And anyway, Julie has some other lovely saddles, including the Monarch that she rides in. I'm interested in that trail saddle that doesn't weigh much.
So that is the Cascade, and that is the saddle that the U.S. military just bought like 75 of those saddles to be made for them for their caisson that does the military mounted funeral services. And they had them. That was an interesting story that Julie had. But anyways, they ordered them to be ready just in time for Jimmy Carter's funeral, and they were.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah, she was there, wasn't she? Oh.
So they're kind of made with the design mind of an old McClellan saddle, which was the old cavalry saddles, and very light and open.
And these
down
are the light ones.
Light.
Oh, great.
But so hers have very little extra, a cushion seat, a pommel but no horn, and then just you use almost like an English girth.
Oh, great.
And there's two straps, so very minimal and just easy to.
Terrific. And they're called what?
The Cascade.
The Cascade. Okay, we'll have a look on the site.
Nice.
I'll link the site below. Thank you very much, T. That was very informative.